peace and silence through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater.
Now we can fight as warriors, hand to hand. It is the basis of all combat. Only a fool trusts his life to a weapon.
What is good, everybody? A very good evening to you all. We are live. This is the 24th episode of the Worldwide Company of Gamers podcast. Hope you're all doing well. I'm excited. I'm excited as fuck to be with you all tonight. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Shout out to all of you awesome individuals in the chat. Let me know how you're all doing. Newtonian, Wufaki, Who Are You 5? We've got Fadel. We have no Sferatu. I always struggle with your name. Nosferatu. The Unknown. Twisted Sin. PlayStation, Xbox, Ecstasy. Some pretty sweet ass names over here, fam, in the chat. We have Retro Family Man Gamer, who's guesting tonight with us on the panel. David Faulkner, my boy, he's busy as always, going from meetings to meetings. He's definitely a man in demand, so he'll try and make it if he can, but he's just chilling out in the chat currently. What's good? Crystal Ball, Compost Smurth, Ice Queen Gaming, hi Dawn, nice to see you here as well. You're all awesome, fam. It's great that you're all here. So this is the 24th episode, guys, and it's going to be a juicy one. We might subvert a few expectations with some specific news tonight. And it's not bad news. It might burst a bubble, but it may also, at the same time, keep you from looking in the wrong place and keep you looking in the right place for, I guess you could say, exciting things ahead. So I know that sounds all vague and Nostradamus-y and shit, but you'll see exactly what I mean when we break this down. But we've got it's a bit of a dry week this week, not gonna lie, fam, because everything's been pretty much covered already by other podcasts, and it's just kind of been more of the same. And I don't want to bore you all again with more acquisition talk. You know, it's been 3-4 weeks now, and I think we're all getting a bit sick of it. However, guys, that's not going to be a primary focus this evening, but there will definitely be some interesting things to consider, and that's all I'll say for now until we get further into it. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well, guys. Let's get into this. So let's introduce the panel. We have a bit of a niche panel tonight, fam. Unfortunately, there are a few who can't make tonight, but the show must go on, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have an awesome chat regardless. Shout out, first of all, to our guest, the awesome Family Man Gamer, Retro, as he's known as. He's a friend of the show and someone that I regard quite highly. What's good, my dude?
Brilliant, man. Just chilling today before the rush of the school runs and stuff in the morning. Thanks for the kind words, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for inviting me on.
It's my pleasure, bro. It's my pleasure. No, it's awesome for you to be on, and at short notice too. I'm grateful that you're here. You've been on a couple of times in the past, and you were on with Shaki Shako not too long ago. So it's great that we've been able to get you on again, and it'll be awesome to hear your perspective and your point of view on these various subjects. And we've got a few subjects to consider. Not all are listed in the title, fam. We'll also be talking about a few other things, including Ghostwire Tokyo, etc. I know Akira is very hot on that. Speaking of Akira, how are you, my guy? You doing well?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. Again, I'm playing SIFU. I've been playing for, I believe, about 6 to 5. I don't know anymore. Time flies when I play this game. So about 5 to 6 hours, right? And I'm just gonna say it right now. The game kicks your ass. Like, it really does. You need to learn the mechanics that they're teaching, because if you don't, the game's gonna keep on kicking your ass.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, man. Like, this game has only 5 stages, right? Because there are let's say there are 5 final bosses that you're gonna hunt down based on, there's a revenge story, right? Revenge story. There's 5 assholes that you need to hunt down, right? I defeated the first asshole basically, but the second one, I'm on my 20th try, and I still can't get through. And this is the insane thing about SIFU, by the way. It has a roguelike mechanic, and the roguelike mechanic is this. For example, you finish the first boss, right? And you are, for example, you finish it at 40 years old. When you go to the second level, and for example, you die because you grow too old, you will grow young only to 4 years old. You're not going to grow younger than that, which means that you need to make sure that you're young enough before you reach the final stages of this game, or else you're kind of fucked, because you'll be left with like 2 or 3 lives.
Yeah.
For example, you finished a third level.
I've got the game downloaded, and I was watching Skillet's review, and he mentioned that mechanic. It sounds pretty cool and strategic.
For example, you finished a third level with, let's say you really got your ass kicked. You finished a third level with you're 65 years old, and that's just a third level, right? So that means when you grow too old and you get your ass beat in the third level, you will only go back to 65 years old, not younger. That's the roguelike mechanic of this game. So
that's pretty. Yeah.
I'm actually thinking if I'm going to make a new game on it, because I didn't fully understand this from the trailers, and I beat the first boss. I'm 34 years old. I beat it at 34 because you started at 20 years old.
That's old as fuck, bro. Joking.
Yeah, and I'm still wondering if I want to try again, because the more you play, the more you learn.
Exactly.
And
we'll be getting into SIFU in depth.
But I'm doing great, man. I'm having the time of my life here. But yeah,
I'm glad. How's the baby? How's the baby?
Oh, she's doing great. She's sleeping right now.
Fantastic.
The baby's great. Yeah, baby's great.
Glad to hear it, man. Glad your family are doing well. That's awesome. And last but by no means least, my good friend, fellow COG panel member and brother Wilhelm. How are you doing, bud?
Doing very well. I've lately been having one hell of a time with an old friend, you can say. The friend in question is the game Postal 2. Are you familiar with Postal 2, my guy? Are you familiar with that?
I'm familiar with the name, but I've never played it.
Basically, Postal 2, to those of you who don't know, it's basically a first-person sandbox shooter, and it's about that guy, the postal dude, who lives in a place called Paradise in Arizona, and
I did play that game. Shit, I played it when I was a little kid at my uncle's in Birmingham. And and is it semi-open world ish? You like
yeah.
and you have
Like,
you can dual wield guns if I remember.
I think that was later on added to the expansion Paradise Lost, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, Postal 2 is
Far
a
Cry
semi-open
kind of style.
it's a semi-open world first-person shooter where you're basically tasked with very mundane activities to do. Like, for example, the first day, Monday, it's broken down to 5 days. And basically, in those days, you have to do like tasks with very mundane activities. Like, for example, Monday, you're tasked with having to buy milk, having to get your paycheck, and cashing in said paycheck. But there comes this is the very moment where the genius of Postal 2 comes into play, because the game gives you those tasks, but how you want to perceive those tasks, how you want to solve those tasks, and how you want to approach each situation is entirely up to the player. So you can unleash some wild shit in that game, like some very wild shit. Like, for example, when you want to get your paycheck, the dude worked or used to work at Running with Scissors, which is funny enough, the same devs who made Postal 2, they basically projected themselves into the world of Postal 2. And when you get in that building, your boss basically tells you to fuck off and that you're fired. You can take it like that, or you can just pack out your shotgun and shoot him in the head.
Oh
Same
shit!
thing. Yeah, it's awesome. Or right outside the building, of Running with Scissors, there are those video game protesters. You know, people who protest against violent video games. And what I basically did was I poured some gasoline on them and set them on fire. Because it's fun, and yeah. And all those tasks have like a twist to them. Like when you, for example, go cash in the paycheck, those video game protesters come in and want to raid the building, so you have to like fight them off. And same thing is when you like go to the church. There's like a mission where you have to confess your sins, and he, also there's like some funny satire into that as well. Like when you go to the church, the pastor just basically asks if you donated money to the Dropbox, and if you say yes, then your sins are instantly forgiven. You know, like the game is like it's in bad taste in the most authentic
It's
and
like
most
it
delicious way
parodises.
possible.
Yeah, it's like a parody that's intending
Yeah, it's like,
to offend a specific group of people.
yeah, everyone, and I love it. I love it so much for that. And like when you go to the church after you confess your sins, basically the Taliban raids the place, and then you have to fight off the Taliban.
Holy shit!
And then later on, like behind the dude's trailer, there actually is a hole that leads to the Taliban base, and I raided the Taliban base, which gave me then this a nuclear bioweapon that basically, when you fire it, unleashes some kind of virus and affects the people in paradise. Like the kind of things that are in the game, you know, the kind of things that you can tickle out of it, the kind of things you can explore, the kind of things you can mess around with are in so much fun.
Mate, you're
There's
making
so
me
much
want
fun,
to.
like-
You're making me want to download it on Steam.
Like it's so much fun. Like honestly, like the
Yeah,
amount of
I'm
things
sold.
you can do in this game, the amount of things you can explore, it's like amazing. Like it's amazing. Like each playthrough, you're gonna have a different experience, like with different things happening or different things you're basically exploring, different things you're going to find. Like it's so much fun. It's like an insanely fun game. It's like one of the most fun games I've played in such a long time, and which is why if you haven't played the game, please
game is this?
go ahead and play Postal 2. Kira.
Postal. Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Old game.
Sounds amazing.
It's an amazing game. Like if your country didn't ban it, go ahead and grab it on GOG or
I love it.
Steam.
I love it.
It's one of my favorite games of all time. And also, check out Postal 4. Yeah, the fourth one is also currently in the works after Postal 3 being a big disappointment, which is largely due to the fact that it wasn't developed by Running with Scissors, but a Russian company named Akela. And it's a whole different can of worms, which it's quite a huge thing to unpack. So, which is why I'm just saying, yeah, Postal 3 was not great, and now sort of like to give series to let the series end on a higher note. Running with Scissors currently is developing Postal 4, and you can actually download the early access version of that game. It's currently on Steam, and it's basically more of Postal 2, which I couldn't have asked for more.
Reviews are calling it absurd and delightfully tasteless.
Yes, it's so accurate. It couldn't be more accurate. Like, it's bad taste in the most authentic and delicious way possible.
You know what's crazy? I remember when I first played this game years ago, I couldn't believe the visuals I was seeing. And now it's like, it's just not, it's not the same. I'm just looking at Throneful on YouTube, his gameplay of it. But I always subscribe to people that I feature the gameplay of on this podcast. But yeah, he's got like a spade or a shovel, and he's running around and just randomly decides to I think attack people. And
you can also piss on people. It's also fun.
you can piss on people.
that's true.
Wow, flipping.
Yeah, that's true.
You can sit and
Postal
well,
is very it's very vulgar. It's very
like,
it would be cancelled nowadays. That kind of game
Yeah.
would be cancelled.
no, but they don't give a fuck. That's why they do a fourth one.
You know,
There's-
and
there's-
here in the 21st century, people are shocked at video games that like I don't know, allow you to piss on grass. You know,
There's a lot of
shout out to
you
Death
know,
Stranding.
Wilhelm, there's a lot of games like Postal that got canceled before. I mean, Postal is technically, you're the bad guy. Technically, you're the asshole.
He's
in the
literally
game.
peeing on this woman, and she's now vomiting.
Yeah.
What the hell are we watching here, guys?
In
this-
Postal, technically, you're the asshole in Postal.
The
This
best
is
thing is
shocking.
when the dude gets gonorrhea, when he pisses on people, they instantly like vomit all kinds of fluids.
Remember that game called Hatred?
Yeah, that one was also like hugely controversial.
yeah,
like,
I
and,
remember
you
that.
know,
It's a different with
that-
hatred. It's a different thing because, like, with Postal, at least it has like a tongue-in-cheek style.
Yeah, I know. But
it's very
Postal is-
satirical. While with Hatred, it's just like an edgy
Postal is
game
lucky,
made
though.
by edgy dudes.
Postal is lucky though because it released early. If that would have been
Yeah.
released like a little bit, in the modern day, that would have been canceled. Like, definitely. You peeing on someone? Nah, that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
she's gonna
Postal
get
4 is
canceled.
also coming out, and Postal 4 still has pretty much like Postal 2's spirit.
It's just not popular though. Yeah.
Yeah, but like it still exists, and there
Sure,
are also missions where like battling those like cancel culture Twitter dudes.
It's like
Really.
this game is like basically Duke Nukem meets flipping GTA meets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So
Serious.
there you go, guys.
Getting my ass kicked.
Go on. Sorry, family man. Say that again.
I was just saying, it kind of reminds me of that Serious Sam a little bit.
That's what I
Kind of
meant.
way you're running
Yeah,
around going a bit
Serious Sam.
crazy.
I meant
Serious
Serious Sam,
Sam.
not Duke Nukem. I meant Serious Sam.
Oh no, it kind of gives me that vibes too. That very goofy kind of.
Aren't they the same maker?
Parodical kind of. Is parodical a word?
No. What do you mean, Akira? What do you mean?
Like, I mean, I thought like Serious Sam and Duke Nukem kind of like the similar inspiration.
Yeah, but like different developers.
Okay.
Duke Nukem was made
It
by
would be
3D
interesting
Realm.
to see a comparison of the two. To be fair, I haven't played either, but I do know about them both.
You need to, like, especially Serious Sam.
Yeah.
I love the first encounter. It's one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, that game gets crazy.
Yeah, I love it so much for that. Like,
Yeah.
See, I love Earth Defense Force, so I probably would end up loving those games because I know they're similar in a certain way.
it's like
As
Sifu.
force?
It's like Sifu, very ball busting because it's
Yeah.
so absurd, but it's like ball busting in the most fun way possible.
Yeah, big facts. Right, so guys, we'll get on to the main subjects, and this show might be a little bit shorter than most because there's not too many subjects really. But we'll touch on all of them. Let's get the main one out the way first. It's a shame DZ isn't here. Would have loved Seth to be here because as a game developer, it really kind of it would mean something, particularly coming from him. But would still love to hear it from you guys in terms of, do you think it's important? Do you think it's fair that game developers have their work shat on because they're too difficult? Basically, that's kind of like a question because the main topic we're talking about here is SIFU, and it's been critically acclaimed by so many. So many outlets. Except
really good reviews. It's really a shame. Yeah,
it's been
really
getting-
good reviews.
It's been getting incredible reviews. However, the difficulty is resulting in some absolutely like 4 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10. I'm seeing quotes here, ridiculously hard by Checkpoint
It's a
Gaming.
crybabies.
We're getting far too difficult from Gfinity. Too punishing to be enjoyable.
It's not true. It's
like-
enjoyable. I mean, it's punishing. It's enjoyable.
Yeah,
enjoying it.
and the problem is that with these reviews, directly affects the Metacritic. You see,
Yeah, true.
Game
They give
by
their score.
being fair, Game by scored it a 7 out of 10. Yet that isn't reflected in the criticism. Too punishing to be enjoyable. Yet they still scored it a 7 out of 10. It's like it's strange. It's a strange conflict, and I just wanted to ask you guys. I know it's a bit of an old, overused kind of topic now to discuss, and it's something that most people would discuss on the Twitter Spaces or something like that. But do you think game difficulty is synonymous with artistic vision? And if so, can you give examples? Or do you think it should be kept separate?
It's basically the thing that I predicted. You remember the episode a couple of months ago where I brought that topic up, where I said, well, it's not beating a dead cow and a dead horse when it's resurrected once in a while.
That's so true.
Basically the same thing. It's currently happening again. I knew it was going to happen, and there we are yet again. With that discussion out of the way, or basically with that discussion brought up once again, I still my point is it remains the same that I brought up months ago. When the difficulty of a game is part of its design, part of its vision, then the criticism itself is, to me, very invalid. It's basically the same situation where people demanded an easy mode for Dark Souls. It doesn't work. That difficulty is an essential part of the game's design and how it all works. Like when they implement that easy mode in Dark Souls, for example, the game would pretty much be broken. It would just not work because it's built upon that difficulty. They didn't just do it because they were bored. No, there was an idea behind it, a vision behind it, and a plan behind it. Implementing an easy mode would just pretty much throw that vision. Would just pretty much destroy and demolish that vision. If you play it on easy mode, you just would hate it, and of course you would hate it because basically you're playing at this point like a butchered version of what once was an idea. And same thing with SIFU. Its difficulties part of its design. It's a part of the game. It's a part of the vision. It's a part of the idea. So
Facts.
if you think it's too difficult or it's too difficult for you to enjoy, then it's not the game's problem. It's not the game's fault. It's basically your fault. It's like,
Or it's not even necessarily your fault. It's just not a game for you. But that shouldn't objectively reflect negatively on the game.
like that's what I mean. Like it's not the game's fault. Like it's just not your type of game, and that's okay. You know, we all have different tastes, different preferences, and if that type of game just doesn't appeal to you that much, if you think the challenge is more frustrating to you than fun and encouraging, then it's just not the game for you.
Big
Like
facts.
it's same thing with Serious Sam. That game is also quite ridiculous and quite a bitch if you want, because that game like throws a ridiculous amount of enemies at the screen, you know, and many people have criticized it for that, but I think I just love it. It's like a part of Serious Sam. It's like a part of the game, that ridiculousness. It's a part of the game's design. It's a part of the game's idea. It's a part of that game's vision and its identity. To right, like if you don't like it for that, then that's fine. But that's not the game being shitty. It's just the game not being for you. It's just the game not suiting your type of style, your type of taste. So the reviews slamming SIFU for its difficulty, for its ball-busting nature, are just I just can't get behind that.
Yeah, game journalism, man. It's shocking.
It's rather more hurtful to the art itself, because you know, if critics are, you know, they exist for a reason, and there's a reason why they're
there's a responsibility there.
Prominent. Yeah, there's a responsibility, exactly, and they have a power. They have like that kind of power to determine a game's future,
a game's
the art
success,
form's future, game's success, and the future of the people behind it. You know. So if you start to slam things like for those kind of reasons, like you're basically doing a lot of damage and destroying basically people's ideas and people's visions, people's dreams, because you were just throwing shit at something that just wasn't meant for you, but you just desperately just want to be like the artsy, smart know-it-all who exactly knows what's good and what's not, and if it doesn't appeal to you, it instantly means, oh, it's not good, it shouldn't be played. Like it restricts people. If you criticize games for that reasons, people are not that willing to take risks. People are then afraid to take risks, especially the people funding those projects. They especially don't want those kind of risks to be taken because they're afraid of bad reviews, bad press, and thus low sales. And which is why those kind of reviews are also dangerous in a way. Like, I'm glad SIFU's mostly receiving well. But just saying, if lots more of those kind of people would exist, a lot more reviews like that are kind of damaging to people's visions, dreams, ideas, and voices.
Yep. Big, you're saying all the right things, man. You see, what I want to just show you guys right now is a few little bits and bobs, just in context of this. A shout out to, first of all, Neil in the chat. It was hilarious what he said. He just said, it's like that Animal Crossing lady reviewing PC God of War 2018 and complaining that Kratos wasn't loving enough. It's so freaking true. Like, she scored it a 7 out of 10, and one of the criticisms was Kratos isn't a loving figure. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
what's that got to
It's
do
like-
with the game?
what is this?
It's
Yeah.
it's like
What
it's
is
like
this
asking
lettuce?
Duke.
Go on.
It's like asking Duke Nukem to be a teddy bear or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shocking. It's shocking. And like, this is where gaming journalism is at, and I think they're completely.
Is it really gaming journalism though? Are we?
It's just
This,
it's
no,
just
it's
crying.
well. When these guys like Wilhelm just said have the power to directly impact a game's success or not, and
It's
even a
scary
sequel,
when you think about it like that, isn't it?
Yeah, these people literally have power in their hands, and they don't give two shits about it. They do not ever care to reflect on the influence that they have. They're too busy. They're too busy all up in their feels to consider for a moment that the shit that they say has consequences. Not consequences for them, but consequences for the industry and for these games. And they can't just be objective and not and get out their own ass now and again and kind of think detached from their own I don't know whether to call it preconceptions or agenda, and take a game in for at an objectively neutral stance. And obviously things are subjective in reviews of games, but those things that are subjective, you know, shouldn't be the dominant thing. That, like, for example, I really like the art direction, so Deathloop is a 10 out of 10. Like, how the fuck does that make sense when the AI is so shit? I mean, it's 10 leagues below Dishonored, which is ironic because that was Arcane's previous game, and the AI in Deathloop is so much worse. Not to mention the level design has, you know, from what I've read, has fewer options. I was watching Stealth Gamer BR, and he's arguably the greatest first-person game aficionado when it comes to gameplay and setting up incredible runs. And he's an absolute wizard with Dishonored. He can do things with Dishonored that makes you go, holy shit, how is this possible in a game? In a game, not just in Dishonored. It's like, how is this possible? How am I seeing this? And yet with Deathloop, he really struggled. He really struggled to create any wow moments because the AI is just so bad. But yeah, I wanted to show you this quote here on the 95 by But Why Though reviewer. He put, SIFU is surprisingly difficult. So there's the subjective kind of element, which is correct. You're absolutely fine. At a level that will deter most players. Again, a bit of subjectivity there, and that's awesome, right? That's fine. However, getting past that wall will reward you with an amazingly crafted game that stays true, and this is the point, to the developer's vision. One that creates Kung Fu and its core meaning. So here this developer got through his feels of finding the game a challenge and difficult, and acknowledging a potential setback, but then he takes the game for its own merits. He assesses the game and gives it a fair shot, allowing it to kind of punch up at or toward its own merits, and that's what it should be reviewed by. And sure enough, it's the developer's vision. And does this game encapsulate Kung Fu, its core meaning, and does it stay true to the developer's vision? Absolutely. Should that be respected? Well, these twonks here would say no. Screw the dev's vision. We want an easy mode. And so I was just kind of, I wanted to run by you guys something that the panel, something that SkillUp said, and SkillUp hit the nail on the head here. I'll play this for you now. This is SkillUp. Just listen to this for a second.
in the context of SIFU. See, you could add an easy mode to Returnal, and it doesn't really matter because Returnal offers so much outside of the challenge it poses. So many levels, so many enemies, so many weapons, so much lore, story, etc. If someone played through Returnal on an easy mode setting, they would still experience all of that other stuff. They would just lose the challenge component, which is important, don't get me wrong, but Returnal has a lot more to offer outside of that challenge alone. SIFU isn't quite like that. There's not much game here. It's very lean. If you built an easy mode that lets you button mash through it, yeah, you could finish this game in 2 hours, and you've seen some cool kung fu action and some amazing locations, but I'd wager that would be a pretty hollow experience. SIFU is about the challenge, it's about the mastery, it's about the pursuit of perfection, it's about repetition. Wax on, wax off. If you remove that requirement, you'd kind of be gutting this game. Now, I'm not out here...
I mean, there's facts and then there's facts. What he basically was saying there, I mean, I don't know if you guys agree with that, what he said there, that, you know, if SIFU were to compromise its difficulty, it would be completely, I guess, removing the entire purpose of the game. At least with Returnal, go on. Sorry, mate. You go.
No, I'm just agreeing. He's right. I mean, that if it's a core part of the game, taking that away means it's no longer that game that it was designed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't agree with taking points off games for being difficult.
Facts, and that's ultimately what it comes down to, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just I don't agree with it, especially if it's been designed to be that way. I mean, I don't know about you, but I played a lot of games when I was younger that didn't hold your hand. You had to work to get anywhere in them. Mm-hmm. Even the likes of Alex the Kid, if you want to go back that far, Alex the Kid was really difficult until you learned how to play the level almost like a rhythm game. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe we just grew up in a different time, man.
I think so, dude. Shout out to The Unknown. He put Returnal is also about challenge. Yeah, very true. But what Skill Up, if you watch the full video, it didn't do him justice there. What Skill Up was basically saying was, even if you did add an easy mode to Returnal, players might get through it pretty quickly, and it may feel unrewarding by the end of it, because there's a huge amount of reward at beating Returnal, isn't there? Because it's so challenging, right? Especially getting through biome 3, which is just an absolute... Or is it biome 2 with the flying robots, the kamikaze robots. But at the same time, there's still the visual spectacle. There's the shooting. There's the lore, the story, the exploration elements that would still entertain and would still remain even if the difficulty wasn't there with Returnal. Whereas with SIFU, as much like Returnal that it is, it's even more, I guess you could say, bare bones, but not in a bad way. It's just far more raw an experience, kind of not really relying on visuals, or it's got great art direction, sure, but it's not about the visuals with SIFU. It's about the combat, and the combat alone, and only the combat. And if the combat is super easy and you can just cheat your way through the game and beat it in an hour, then was it really a game, or was it just what's the point? Well, it's like using the stealth camo in Metal Gear Solid. It never ever feels rewarding. You don't feel like it. The only time that it's fun is when you sandbox with the enemies, mess around and spook the enemies when you use it. But when you use the stealth camo to kind of, I know, make the game easier, it doesn't really leave you feeling satisfied, you know?
It's like when you used to run around Resident Evil 2 with the unlimited rocket launcher and stuff. It just removed the whole challenge. Yeah,
it's true. If you like exploit an XP glitch, or you find like a cheat, and the temptation is so strong to do it, but once you've done it, you feel almost like you've ruined the game for yourself. It's weird, right? It's always the case, and that's exactly how I imagine it would be like with SIFU if it wasn't a challenge. You know?
Returnal would be the same. Returnal would be
Yeah,
the same
it
if it
would.
wasn't as tough. Like Biome 3, still, I've completed the game. I'm like, I should have had the platinum. I'm still raging because the game glitched and stuff on me near launch, and I had to go back and do a lot of stuff. But I'm missing one scout log for that platinum, and
shit.
it's in Biome 3, and Biome 3 kicks my ass every time. It's annoying. But again, Returnal wouldn't be the game it is without that challenge.
You wouldn't. Big facts. So I asked the chat, should game difficulty be respected as synonymous with developers' vision / game design? And virtually 80%, 79% have said yes of 30 votes. So I think people would
21% work for IGN then.
Big facts. Big facts, Will. But yeah, it's a bit, it's embarrassing, man. And when you think about the impact that these journalists have, how seriously PlayStation take Metacritic, and how it pretty much does define the next game, whether a game has a sequel or not. It matters to the industry, right? It's what a game's success is largely measured by, besides sales.
That's like also the thing that's so bad about it, because it exists in all fields. Like gaming is not like the only field where that exists. I mean, movies as well.
Mm-hmm.
And anything for that matter. Like the reason why, for example, we haven't seen a David Lynch project in so long is because many people don't want to fund him, and Lynch himself said that he doesn't really feel comfortable making a movie in a time now where box office numbers matter more than the quality of the art. I mean, same thing with like John Carpenter's The Thing. The Thing back then when it came out was critically panned all across the board. That's like he almost lost like his career and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Reception. So like that thing exists all around in every single field, and it's incredibly hazardous because it restricts artists, it restricts the vision, and it restricts ideas. Your creativity, your ideas aren't limited by your own imagination, but at this point limited by the numbers the company wants to make.
A game for everyone is a game for no one. David Faulkner spitting facts in the chat. He put it's like taking Lady D or Mr. X out of a Resident Evil game to make it less scary. That's one of the main points of the fucking game. You're absolutely spot on, mate. But imagine if the game had to cater to people who have a phobia of scary situations, who aren't comfortable to play scary games. Who imagine if Resident Evil had to compromise to make it less scary. It's kind of like, just, if scary games aren't your jam, don't fucking buy it. Play something else. There's so many games out there to be enjoyed, but to expect a game to be for everyone is such a dangerous precedent. It's like, I don't, not every game has to be freaking Candy Crush.
It's weird, isn't it, though? Because no other media is really scrutinized that way. No other media is really expected to be for everybody. Like, It's just not realistic.
Why isn't The Ring catering to small kids? Why can't
Exactly.
why can't she be a friendly ghost? Why does she have to kill
be
people?
Coming out that TV hugging people?
I'll score the film a 3 out of 10 because she needed to be far friendlier, like Casper. Mate, it's shocking. But yeah, No, I just wanted to run it by you guys. Akira, what's your thoughts on it, man?
I always thought it's fucking stupid. That difficulty is included in the scoring of reviews because it's kind of like I always believe in player skill, and I don't know, man. Like I can understand some people get frustrated with difficult games, but I don't think that should be a thing that should bring a game down, though. I mean, if, for example, if you do everything perfect and you just fucking, because some people suck at your game, it's automatically bad is bizarre. Like it kind of invalidates the great work that they did just because their game is hard. It is so bullshit, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I always said games should be judged on their own merits. Like now, for example, I'm still enjoying myself. Yeah, this game's kicking my ass, man. I've been trying to learn the game because Kung Fu ain't easy. It's kind of like the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
But again, still bullshit, man. I cannot even play devil's advocate for the journalists. I just think they should let people who are good at games to review these games. No, I mean not really good. I mean, let's just say
At least play the type that they're reviewing.
Yeah.
example, in Washington Post, right? You got someone like Gene Park who fucking love games like From Software. And of course, he's the one who's going to be reviewing difficult games like this. It's kind of like his forte, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at his review. He fucking loved the game.
I'm just waiting on that physical copy, man. Ain't none of those silly reviews swayed me one bit.
Facts.
I'm playing, man.
Mate, I was so close. I've seen your post, man, and I was so close to buying it, and I really want that physical, man.
I think I'm gonna double dip. Well, I always do, kind of. I kind of always double dip. But nah, man. I mean, I'm playing right now as we speak, and it's just fucking amazing, man.
Mm-hmm.
I want. I already said it at the beginning of this show that Sony should fucking get slow clap. These are very talented developers. There's just 30 developers.
Absolver
And they were able to make something like
really
this.
Impressive as well. And that did you see the?
They were way smaller back then.
The SIFU live action trailer. The SIFU live action.
Yeah,
trailer.
that was really good.
Yeah,
really good. They got real Chinese actors there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this is the thing. I want slow clap. To be, let's say, I want Sony to take slow clap already because, maybe they can give them a bigger budget. Maybe make something AAA on this scope right here. Fuck yeah! I mean, let's just say it like this, right? SIFU is doing well enough, right? But I think if you pull this into a AAA space, like this kind of gameplay mechanics and these ideas that they have, I think it can shine well because it's something that is not very common in the AAA space. Mm-hmm. Just to add more variety in the AAA space, basically. I mean, just imagine like like a martial arts game like this, but let's just say since graphics really matter nowadays, with the graphics like Horizon Forbidden West, and you got a game like this, like you're like literally like seeing a martial arts movie in front of you. It'd be great. I mean, man, I love the game regardless, but I just know that there are some people out there who judge games first based on graphics. That's why there'll be a lot of people as well who's going to ignore this game, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the sad reality nowadays. Yeah. But no, man, I'm really impressed with slow clap, and Sony should, like with Ember Lab, they should get them again.
Big facts.
I think SIFU's going to be successful despite of these crying journalists.
Yeah.
So yeah,
100%. Shout
there's
out
that.
to Zubitech in the chat. Big Buds, the Forgetful Gamer. Great that you're all here. My boy Zuby.
Yo.
Great that you showed up, brother. Yeah. So no, 100%. I couldn't agree more. But it's nice to see this game getting all the support in the world and getting the love that it deserves and the love that it,
Yo.
you know.
I'm
So,
also
okay.
glad, to be honest. No, it's so good.
Okay.
I'm also glad about it.
Yeah. No, 100%. Speaking of a game that deserves recognition, there's another one. This bad boy. Wait for it. Oh shit! Gran Turismo. Look at that legend.
Okay.
Oh,
Kazunori.
yes.
So are you?
Kazunori.
The one.
See, I believe you're a fan.
Look at that beautiful man. Look at
family
him.
man.
That's Sony's best studio right there.
You're a big fan. You're a big.
He is the king
Petrol head,
of
are you?
PlayStation. I'm not. Do you know what, dude? I do love cars, and it's because of that game that I love cars.
Wow.
I'm not even the best at the game, dude, but it's the way the cars feel when you're playing. It's really hard to convey, man.
I agree. I was playing some GT Sport just yesterday, and
mate.
the way
Do you
the
know what?
cars handle.
Dude, OE has renewed my love for that game, man. He come out of nowhere on one of my posts and just started being this rival to me, man. And he's just from that's where this league thing started from, was from OE messing about and being funny.
Yeah.
And now there's about 40 of us and we're all racing every Saturday. It's class.
There's no denying it, man. GT Sport is looking phenomenal. This is only in 1080p. I'll try.
This is Gran Turismo 7's like a return to form, man. This is the old and the new just melded together. Basically, Gran Turismo Sport is now going to just be the online mode of Gran Turismo 7.
Facts.
And then you've got all your single player stuff, the museum, the 3 different car dealerships. You've got your body kits and aerodynamics back. You've got your engine parts back. Mate,
Yeah.
I can't wait. There's even engine swaps in it.
Yeah.
You'll be able to drop in different
They
engines.
were showing the Beetle with a Porsche engine in it, weren't they?
Yeah. A lot of
Freaking
people that's good catch, man. A lot of people missed that.
It was shout out to Jez. I think it was Jez who pointed that out on TSGP. So I was just
Fair
echoing
play.
his words.
A lot of people.
But I could tell that they were modified engines because they were going so freaking fast, man.
Yeah.
No way was that just tuned. But
Definitely not. But I just can't wait, mate. I'm so excited.
I think this is. There's one thing this game is screaming out, and it's culture. Like the amount of love and passion towards the entire car industry that this game has, the amount of reverence for vehicles, and also the amount of love for Gran Turismo fans that this game is showing. And people are arguing, there's over 400 types of cars, only 400, was it Gran Turismo 6 launch with 700 or something like that? But you got to realise, Kofi brought out a great point on the Salty East Gaming podcast the other day. He said that many of those cars had no interiors. They were like blacked out shells that you would drive, and they were just also reskins of the same vehicle. They were copy and pasted, like 6 or 7 variations of the same vehicle.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of them were older models and just up-resed. Forza does it at the minute. They use a lot of mixed models.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it does come at the cost of consistency. And I think that's why they wanted to start. That's why Kaz wanted to start again. And with GT Sport, that was a restart on the modeling. Yeah.
Also, one more thing to bear in mind is the fact that these are all high detail models. And when I say high detail, there is no game on this planet apart from Gran Turismo Sport that has models that come close to the polygon count.
Well, you see, Gran Turismo, they work with the manufacturers and get the actual CAD data from them. So they have as much detail on the cars as the actual manufacturers. That's how close their
They go under the
relationships
microscope
are.
with these vehicles, don't they?
It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous, but it's worth it
Yeah, it really is.
because look at them. Just look at it.
It's insane. It's honestly insane. What about you guys in the chat? What's good? The general, my good friend. We play together sometimes on PlayStation. He's known as the Bus Drivers on Twitter. You may know him. What's good, brother? Glad that you're here. But yeah, no, Gran Turismo, man, it's so ambitious. You've also got to just appreciate the amount of detail in these vehicles. For it to launch with 400 is hell of impressive, because the amount of work that goes into each one of these cars is insane.
And I can promise you, shortly after launch, we'll start getting extra content.
Yeah.
They did it with Sport. Every month was a new content drop.
Yeah,
So I
facts.
expect something similar from Gran Turismo 7.
Are you a Motorhead too, Wilhelm? Are you a fan of racing games?
Like I've said before, dude, we can talk Burnout. I love Burnout, but
Hard class
anything else,
series.
You're an
no.
arcade fan. Yeah. You're like Saltiest
like
Gaming in that regard. He's a fan of arcade, but not so much a fan of simulation.
See, I like
Yet
them
he
both,
still
man.
won't hire me.
I know, it's shocking. I just don't get it, man. Do you watch his podcast?
Sometimes tune in, yeah.
Well, I maybe just continue to regularly comment, get his attention on the podcast, and he'll snatch you up. He's like that, Salty. He'll look out for you when he sees you, and reach out to you then. But he's not so good at getting back to people who just reach out to him on Twitter. But no, I know, bro. You keep asking. I do hope that he reaches out to you. But it is what it is.
Look at them cars, man. Oh my days, I can't wait.
Mate, it's juicy. It's just so much to it, so many layers to it. I just wanted to spend a few moments just to appreciate this.
It comes out 2 days before my birthday too, man.
What a birthday
It's like
gift!
a birthday present, innit?
Absolutely.
Gran Turismo. Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks good.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, it's legendary. One of the longest PlayStation IPs or franchises.
Yeah.
One of the most
Biggest
successful as well.
It's huge in Japan, isn't it?
Kaz is a legend. Anyway, it was
And
really disrespectful from.
He actually races.
Wow.
Yeah, he does. It's a lot really disrespect from people back, and they said Gran Turismo 7 didn't deserve a state of play. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
When did
I was
you
going.
start?
People are talking
What-
crazy.
Do you, honestly, guys, I
when did
saw on Twitter some Xbox fanboy, can't remember who it was, but shit was embarrassing, man. He was saying, I saw a mouse cursor on the screen. Are you sure this wasn't on PC? I'm like, tell me you don't know Gran Turismo without telling me you don't know Gran Turismo.
Oh yeah,
Like,
the mouse cursor. Yeah,
these guys
I
have
called that
no
out.
these guys have no culture, man. They literally just grew up playing FPS games and Pornhub. That's it. That's all they know.
I said it right. Even some PlayStation fans, I was really surprised. I was like, this is not Uncharted, God of War, or Last of Us. Doesn't deserve a state of play. I'm like, dude, do you even when did you start playing PlayStation? PS4?
Honest, none of those other games actually laced Gran Turismo shoes. If we want to be brutal about it,
Gran Turismo is the legend. Educate yourself, right? These people saying they're hardcore PlayStation fans. No jack shit about Gran Turismo.
Did you see the post? One of the PlayStation Twitter posts they posted about the grass, man.
Really?
They
What?
said they said the cars are nice, but look at that grass.
Grass.
Yeah, I did share the post, but literally that's what they said. The cars are gorgeous or something like that. But what about that grass? And it was
I
like a
think it's
sweeping
they're
shot.
joking, right? They're kind of joking.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're messing about.
It's hilarious.
I mean, they're
either
known for that.
or
I mean, it's Kaz.
I mean,
I
either
love it.
that or you've been talking with an IGN employee.
I mean, no, I mean, Kaz really makes fun of stuff, right?
I can't wait because, like, see the weather. The weather is going to affect your car, man. Like the atmosphere on the track is going to affect
Nah,
how
man,
much
that'll look
like,
real.
power output and stuff. I can't wait. Oh, it's going to be crazy. You
Yeah,
drive
man.
the the
mean,
behemoth, and it's wet on one side and dry on the other. What do
Yeah.
you do? What tires do you go with?
Yeah, and that could
I
add a
can't wait.
strategic
Again, I
element.
made a
It's like,
post, right?
would you try to purposely avoid the wet patches and drive on specific parts of the road, which would add a whole new racing dynamic? You know,
Yeah.
if say
Yeah,
you're coming
it'll
across
change your lines and everything.
a bend, yeah,
And then the
it's-
puddles forming as well. If you aquaplane, that's your car in a spin. You're done.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you're gonna have to think on your feet with that one.
This drag racing just looks so beautiful as
Ah.
well. It's crazy, man. It's just.
I'm gonna
nuts.
turn a Mini into a monster.
Is the engine
I can't wait.
Mate,
swap?
there's so much like the geological meteorological data that they use in real time for the weather.
Yeah,
And
they actually did that in GT6. Obviously, not to the detailed extent that GT7's getting it, but they did do it in
so
GT6.
ambitious, man. So ambitious. Like
Crazy.
unbelievable. There is no denying the level of ambition that's gone into this game. I mean, Drive Club was the king of ambition before this. I mean, Drive Club has like ridiculous attention to detail. Some 16
I
different
love that game.
sources of audio in each car, in every car individually to those car models. Like they would
Even the boss fight,
they
yeah.
would record audio.
Could you imagine if they had got a shot at a second game? That first game was already gorgeous beyond belief. Could you imagine if they just got to work with that a little bit longer?
I know, bro.
It's such a shame. It's my biggest. I still say it's Sony's biggest mistake that they've made is getting rid of Evolution Studios.
It's true, man. It's the biggest mistake they made for sure. The second would be arguably not snatching up. Who's the developer who made The Order 1886?
Ready at Dawn.
Ready at Dawn.
Ready at
yeah,
Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both are incredibly ambitious technical powerhouses.
I played that game. I played that game not that long ago, and it was nowhere near as bad as people had
It's
made
phenomenal,
out.
man. It's phenomenal. It's one
I
of my
couldn't
favorite.
believe that was. I could not believe that game came out so early in the gen.
Yeah, bro.
I mean,
I
it
played it
plays
for the
well
first
to this
time.
day.
I played it for the first time 3 years ago, and I could not believe it. It was like for me. It was verging on perfection. It was just from start to finish, like one of my favorite experiences. It left me extremely satisfied, like playing that game. It was just phenomenal.
Yeah, people complained about the story, but I felt it was fairly paced and it was interesting, and it was there was plenty of little shocks here and there, and they could have really expanded on it with a bit more time, a bit more support. They could have really done something special with that series.
I believe Sony own the IP, so here's hoping maybe Sony Santa Monica do something with that, because I know that they assisted Ready at Dawn with that game.
All right,
and you know, maybe Sony Santa Monica could take the mantle and pursue it. Who knows? But one can dream. But yeah, for sure, guys. Gran Turismo 7 looks absolutely phenomenal. Are you guys excited for it? Are you guys picking up Gran Turismo 7 day one? Let me know in the chat. I'll drop a little poll right now. Are you buying GT7 day one? Ask the community.
I'm going to start a new game because this is not gonna work. I'm too old in the second level.
You're still playing SIFU, are you,
Way
bro?
too old.
Yeah, I can't wait to pick. I
Yeah,
can't wait to
too
play it.
old.
I've got it downloaded. I've not played it yet.
Need to finish at young. It's
So,
fucking too
Kara,
old.
I want to get your thoughts now on the next subject we have in store.
Yeah.
Ghostwire Tokyo, and after that, then
Yeah.
I'll reveal this big news drop.
Okay.
For you guys.
need to pause the game for that. All right. Ghostwire Tokyo. Man, I never get tired. I never get tired of talking about this game. It's just so much to see regarding Ghostwire Tokyo, right? Is there anything specific you want to know about, or?
No, well, first of all, I just wanted to know everybody, the whole panel's thoughts on it. Are you guys excited for this game, and do you have any gripes with what you saw regarding Ghostwire? Is there anything that disappointed you? Is there anything that's excited you about it? And would you consider it a day one purchase? So, I'd love to. I know you've got a lot of info about it, Kira, and I can't wait to hear it, because you did a fantastic video on your YouTube channel all about it, which I was watching. That really it surprised me, man. You're full of surprises.
I used to do that. I kind of fell off because I don't know how to do it further. But so there's a thing. Ghostwire Tokyo, right? I gotta say, I really cannot see anything I can criticize from it. Like, it's the kind of game where I didn't know I needed until I saw it. That was such an unexpected game to me, especially from Tango Gameworks, who made Evil Within back then. Although it's also not a big surprise since it's Shinji Mikami's studio. Shinji Mikami kind of like doing that. He kind of likes doing this surprise type of games where it's a bit different than the usual games that you know of. Mm-hmm. Ghostwire Tokyo is basically Tokyo, Japan, and the Japanese culture and the superstitious beliefs, the folklore, the urban legends.
So tell us about this this character right here, this lady with the scissors. Ghostwire Tokyo. One of my favorite things about Ghostwire Tokyo is simply that I'm a huge fan of mythology in general. I'm a huge fan of it, especially from where I'm from, and that's like the yokai. A lot of the yokai. A lot of them are being used in games as well, and Ghost of Tsushima
in movies. Ghost of Tsushima had one. I mean, Lost Judgment used one of them for a side quest. It's called the CANVA. It's like this turtle man. You know the horror movies. They kind of get inspirations from the yokai. Shin Megami Tensei 5 uses yokai. There's a lot of usage for yokai, but they were just used. That's the key word. Ghostwire Tokyo, however, they introduce the yokai to you properly. For example, like I said, the lady Kuchisaki Onna is a very, very popular urban legend. Actually, her appearance was used a lot for creepypastas, inspirations, or even movies like The Ring, that's kind of like the aesthetic, right? But
wait, no, isn't The Ring the same as Shinobi? Is it Shinobi? Shibito.
Again, they take inspirations from the urban legends themselves.
The
when
Ring
it comes
is
to
like
aesthetic,
The Grudge, right? The Ring is the same horror myth. It's a similar myth to The Judge. It's not the
Grudge,
just The Grudge. It's the same style. What do you call them? Yokai.
Yeah, so basically, it's just they're taking aesthetic inspirations from the yokai, because that's kind of like what they are, right? They're scary stories, they're scary entities. Kuchisake Onna is one of the creepiest urban legends that that you will basically read about. It's she's very popular in urban legends. Her story has been around since late 70s in Japan, like I mentioned in that video that Wooly was saying. The story about her is very simple. Well, I simplified it. It's of course it has more story than it, but the simple thing that you need to know about her is she appears to be an ordinary woman, and she wears a mask. And if she sees you, basically she asks you if you think she's pretty, right? And if you say yes, she takes off the mask. And as you can see in the game as well, they implemented the cut, the smile. She sliced her face off to make it look like a smile. They implement that to the game because it's kind of like the accurate.
I'm trying to find the
It's
clip
kind of like
of her face.
It's kind of like the accurate description of Kuchisake Onna. Even in one of the clips, in one of the trailers, she was still wearing her mask, and in the other clip, she's not wearing it anymore. And this kind of tells me that GameSpot wrote a article where they said there are about 40 side missions in Ghostwire Tokyo. And they said a lot of them has something to do with Japanese folklore. Which means that we might get introduced to the yokai properly, like, all of you guys. And you might experience the urban legend firsthand as well. That's why I was, I'm kind of thinking maybe this is why she has a mask here and here she doesn't have one. Or if my theory would be, maybe this kind of like how you meet first, like the urban legend.
This is her, isn't it? With the big smile, with the red eyes, the white mask, and the big teeth.
Yeah, and exactly. The she has a scissor blade, the big scissor blades, right? Yeah.
Yeah, this is
so.
her.
So this is the thing, man. The details are there, the aesthetics are accurate. Now, what I'm only gonna wait for is how they introduce her to you. If they're gonna do it like the urban legend, where they ask you a question and you pick a wrong answer, or basically she just takes out the mask, right, and just walks towards you. It's all fine as well, because like I said, it's aesthetic anyway. But yeah, it's pretty accurate. And yeah, basically, if you say yes, if she's pretty, she takes off her mask, reveal the face that's sliced, that smile. She asks you again the question, and whatever you answer here, yes or no, you're kind of fucked, because she's gonna attack you with that scissor blade anyway. Like one of the let's say things that you can do is, based on the story, you can call her average, because that's kind of like a confusing answer, and that would give you time to run away. That's that's the idea, right?
I love it.
You need to run fast, right? And
You've
there's
got
like a lot of
Slenderman like looking character, but he's different. He's not tall, and he has a mouth, right?
Yeah, exactly. I explained that in the Ghostwire Tokyo video, right? This is not really Slenderman. It's kind of a it's kind of like a just it's basically a ghost. Man, this is very hard to explain. Let me think. The Slenderman character, right,
is inspired off
You
these.
see-
Is
you
Slenderman
see, like-
inspired by these?
I'm not sure. I don't know about his ridges, but do you know you saw as well the Slenderman looking characters? There was a fat one, right?
There was a fat one.
You didn't see the fat one?
No.
There's a fat one.
Oh shit! Yeah, I see
There
him.
is a
Yeah,
fat
there he is. I see him right
Yeah.
now.
There is a fat one. So again,
Full
this
spot.
is more what do you call this? This is you notice the Slendermans are carrying umbrellas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all right, before the Slenderman, by the way, I want to tell you about the before I go to the Slenderman character, I want to tell you about the headless. You saw them, right? The students.
Yeah, I saw them.
The headless. All right. So basically, the headless is the thing, right? The headless ghost. It's kind of technically they have a head, but it's it's floating somewhere. You know what I mean? So I'm actually wondering, because they haven't showed it yet, right? They haven't showed it yet, but I'm wondering if the headless ghost, like if you can find, the heads floating somewhere, because it kind of like adds a creepy effect to it, right? Because again, it's kind of like what the headless ghosts are. They're known for that, and again, their heads basically floating somewhere. Again, I'm very excited because there's so much to look forward to when it comes to this. Because all right, so the headless ghost, Nukikobi, so it's a type of yokai that it can remove its head completely, right? The head is capable of flying around and doing its own thing, but it cannot go too far from its body, because if the body gets moved, then the head and the body will not reunite again or something. So there is a possibility that from the headless ghost that we might see some floating heads somewhere. In Ghostwire Tokyo.
Right? Not gonna lie, some of these look creepy as hell. Like,
so,
look at this one. This round white head with a big black smile, black eyes.
That's Teru Teru Butsu. The one with the white
It looks like a ping pong ball.
Floating...
It looks like a shot pot that you play.
Okay.
Badminton.
This is the interesting part. This is the interesting one about that. That's Teru Teru Butsu. You know what's interesting about that one? That one is actually not a yokai.
No?
That, I'm really wondering why that character is an enemy, because that is actually a paper or cloth or charm that children in Japan make to hang on their window to make the rain go away.
So it's like a dream catcher in a way.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. But the purpose is kind of like to make the rain go away. If you're scared of.
It's interesting because it's actually got a thread above it that looks like
it's exactly.
dangling from.
Yeah, exactly. I'm wondering why it's an enemy, because technically it should be a good, thing. But apparently it seems like, good stuff can also be corrupted in Ghostwire Tokyo's world. But yeah, that's a charm, a paper cloth that people in Japan, or especially children, they make that.
What's interesting, Akira, is that there's loads of floating bodies around him, around this character, loads of people in spirit form.
That's the spirits, yeah. It seems like, from what I understood, from the first shot of Ghostwire Tokyo, you saw the people disintegrating, right? But it seems like the idea was they were disintegrating. Their spirits are being separated from the body because of an event. Like, it's, they didn't spoil that, of course, but there's some kind of event that is making that happen. And, and you got all these visitors and all that. It's kind of like, it's kind of like when Death Stranding happened and a lot of weird shit started to happen. It's kind of like what Ghostwire Tokyo is going for, but they're not revealing what exactly happened, and that's kind of like the mystery itself, right? Now let's go to Slenderman. The Slenderman. So you can see they wear suits, right? Sometimes they have a knife, but they always have an umbrella, right? Now this is a faceless yokai that they have this human kind of form, but they are featureless, like smooth surface like an egg, like you can see there. Now this is the weird part. Normally the faceless ghost should not have a mouth, but this one has. These faceless ghosts have mouths, so I'm wondering if this is a different kind of yokai than the Noparabu, the one that I know of, because called Naparabu, yeah. Basically, they're just faceless spirits.
Is Slenderman a Naparabu? Or is he inspired by them?
No, I don't know where Slenderman's inspired by, to be honest. But these are just faceless.
He looks just like them, so I'm just curious.
Yeah, these spirits are just called faceless spirits. They're just really like 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 ghosts that are faceless. I think the only reason why they attack you is because, like I said, an event is happening and it's kind of corrupting the paranormal, supernatural, the yokais, the urban legends. They're kind of have some kind of corruption as well in the game, right? I'm gonna explain what I mean about that because there is one preview where they explain something that they never showed, unfortunately, but that one sounded interesting. So basically, what this person said was, he had you need to collect the spirits, right? Like you saw from the previews.
Mm-hmm.
So there are spirits that you need to do something for before they let themselves be collected. And one of them was, it's kind of like you need to retrieve something from an apartment from the landlord. That's kind of like the idea, right? So this is where it gets interesting with Ghostwire Tokyo. I'm really confused why they didn't show this. But remember in the trailer there was this part where there are people floating with umbrellas.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
People floating with umbrellas. In which trailer was that?
It was in the showcase.
Oh, the latest trailer.
Yeah, in the showcase. Yeah, there was a part there where they're showing this full of people floating with umbrellas in their hands. So the idea is this: they said that there are segments in Ghostwire Tokyo where everything starts to get distorted. Like, for example, buildings upside down or on the side, furniture's moving on their own, walls just changing colors all of a sudden, the surroundings changing as well drastically. Again, a lot of strange stuff happening, like people floating, mid-air but upside down. It's, again, a lot of bizarre things are happening. So there are segments like that, and when you need to retrieve what that spirit wanted from the landlord, when you arrive at that apartment, you can see the landlord's spirit completely corrupted. It's almost color black and red. And they mentioned that it's kind of like completely corrupted. So that's like my clue that there is some kind of corruption going on with the yokai, and like I said, the paper cloth, the one hanging on the windows.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're kind of corrupting the supernatural things in Japan in general, not only the yokai, but all of them.
Which would explain
basically
that Dreamcatcher-like thing as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the idea, and they didn't really highlight this. It was just one video who did it. It was you can search Ghostwire Tokyo 15 things that you should know, and they said it there. And I'm really surprised they didn't say that, because that one sounded really interesting. Now, apart from all of that, right? Tokyo itself, right? I mentioned this is the most accurate Tokyo I've ever seen. Like, dude, they said Ghostwire Tokyo is an open world. You can explore Tokyo freely. When I'm watching the previews, man, it just feels like I'm walking around Tokyo. It's just Tokyo. Just an accurate recreation of Tokyo to the brim. Like, there might be some stuff here that I might also miss because I don't live in Tokyo. So, for example, people who live in Tokyo would know about this thing that is typical of Tokyo. They would notice that, but not the other Japanese people. So that's kind of like how much detail they go into. I explained to you the kid, right? The one raising the hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So details like that, right? That's why I said not only supernatural, they're also introducing the Japanese culture within the game. And that video where the kid was raising his hand, I missed that 3 times. I needed to rewatch the video 3 times before I noticed it. It's such a small detail, but they put it there anyway. That's how much detail they want to put in the game.
Wow.
And there's going to be a ton of them to find when it comes to Japanese culture.
I'm just showing right now the side-by-side comparison. Here's Tokyo in real life.
Yeah,
Here's
exactly.
Tokyo in
That's
the game.
Shibuya. Shibuya will be a favorite for people who visited Tokyo because it's kind of like the shopping district.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's a city that never sleeps kind of thing. But so yeah, Tokyo,
Phenomenal.
you know, this is the most accurate representation recreation of Tokyo I've ever seen. So if you've been to Tokyo, you'll definitely see it.
So what?
If you want to go to Tokyo, this is your chance. Basically,
Yeah.
just roam around Ghostwire Tokyo.
yeah.
You're basically looking at Tokyo.
See,
The details from the. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I was hot on this game at first, then I kind of cooled a little bit on it, and now I'm hot again. I'm looking forward to it. But I wanted to hear from the rest of the panel as well. What are your thoughts on Ghostwire? Do you have any concerns?
Yeah, let them say. I'm gonna finish my final points, but yeah, go ahead, man. What do you think?
I honestly, I'm excited. That's the only thing I can say. Like, I'm very stoked for it, and especially because I think a lot of people, or I don't know if it's just like my personal takeaway, but I think some people do understate or do not like realize that Shinji Mikami is also able to pull off very visceral, dark, surreal kind of shit, you know, like he has worked with Suda 51, for example, on both Killer 7, for example, and Shadows of the Damned, and also Diva Within, and I'm hyped because you know, it's looking to be another more surreal, visceral kind of Shinji Mikami experience that we're getting, and like I'm just excited. I'm just very much looking forward to it.
I like the voice acting as well. There's something about Japanese voice acting. It just keeps your attention. What about you, Retro? Are you a fan of what you've seen so far, or?
Yeah, I like it, man. I think it looks off the wall. It looks something different.
It really does. It's like Doctor Strange meets Hexen. Hexen.
It's just, it just looks really interesting, man. And I want to jump in and experience it. It just, I live for shit like this. This is why we game. We want different experiences, and so yes, chalk me up as excited.
Facts. This scene is really cool because this is Akito, his spirit. Akito is the main character, and this is KK, I think his name is.
Yeah, KK is the spirit. Yeah, KK is the spirit. KK is an interesting mystery because he seems to be human for some, like, he seems human because he was also trapped in that box where the other human spirits are.
And KK
I'm wondering why he has powers.
KK is the spirit that gives you your supernatural abilities, right?
The powers, yeah, exactly. Yeah. KK is very interesting because, like I said, for some reason I think he's human, but he has powers. So there's got to be, something to do with the event. Like I said, there's an event that's happening in Ghostwire Tokyo.
Something.
But that's the thing, man. So apart from Tokyo, right, and the Japanese culture and all that, right? I already explained that, the yokai and the gameplay. So, the gameplay, the hand gestures, the hand motions, animations, right? That's actually based on a Japanese martial art. It's called Kujikiri. Kujikiri it's actually very popular because ninjas use it. If you played Ninja Gaiden, Ryu Hayabusa uses Kujikiri. He does this hand gestures.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically Kujikiri, like ninjutsu. And if you play Tekken and Raven, Raven has a winning animation where he does the Kujikiri hand motions. 9 of them. There's 9 of them. And other ninjas does it as well. And basically, that's kind of like what that is it's Japanese martial art, and then they mixed the magic with it, the nature bending, that water, the fire, the wind, and there was one more, I forgot the other one, but yeah. So the thing that I want to say about this game, to simply sum it up, this is the Japanese culture, the Japanese supernatural side of Japan, the superstitious beliefs, the yokai, the urban legends, and Tokyo in a video game. That's it. That's what this game is, and I said Sony better send PS5s to Japan because Japanese people will love this game.
Well, that song's
They
just released,
better
hasn't it? The thing Kenshi, his single
Kenshi.
debuted, and it
Again, Kenshi is that
it
that
released today,
no.
didn't
So
it? It debuted today.
so this is the thing, man. When the music video was not released yet, right? Genki, the other Japanese guy on Twitter, and I was theorizing that you think they're gonna make a separate music video because it's kind of like the commercial, right? The one with the PS symbols, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we both agree that they're gonna make a different music video, right? So imagine our shock when we saw the same video, just 4 minutes long.
Yeah,
It means that they really went hard on that marketing to have Kenshi's most awaited new song, most awaited music video that will go viral in Japan anyways. Like all of his songs, it's always people wait for that song like you're waiting for your favorite movie. It's kind of like how it is in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenshi is wearing a PlayStation symbol choker. He's driving a bike with PlayStation symbols. He's sitting on a throne that looks like a PlayStation 5. He's holding a DualSense controller. And basically, the most popular singer in Japan is endorsing PlayStation in his music video with his new song. And I cannot express enough how big that is. If you want like a small understanding how big that is, it's kind of like imagine, imagine like legendary musicians. Imagine legendary musicians get together and endorse, let's say endorse a TV, for example. You got Michael Jackson. You got Michael Jackson. Let's say you got who else is popular in America? I don't know. Kanye West. Fucking hell. For example, we got Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson and Kanye West. What a duo.
No, let's just say you have the most popular people in a certain country endorsing a TV in their newest song and their newest music video that people have been waiting for over 2 years. That's kind of like what Kenshi did in Japan, and it is the biggest marketing move I've ever seen. No, it's one of the biggest marketing moves I've ever seen. I'm not talking about PlayStation. I'm talking about one of the biggest marketing moves I've ever seen in Japan in general.
Yeah.
So
Shit.
I'm really wondering, why are they pushing so hard? Like, what is it? What are they trying to sell? Because right now, it's only Final Fantasy 16 and Ghostwire Tokyo and GT7 that they got, right? But for a marketing push like this, there has to be something else. Because normally when PlayStation does marketing in Japan, it's like this. They either get an actor for a commercial. It doesn't have to be famous. Just an actor for a commercial. Or they market the software itself, which is the video game itself, right? And that's like how PlayStation markets. Now, PlayStation has been silent in Japan for over 1.5 years, ever since the PS5 dropped. They zero marketing in Japan, like zero. And then all of a sudden they do this gigantic move. All of a sudden, it's kind of like they felt comfortable to make a gigantic move because they got something to make a gigantic move for. This costs money. So much money. You got the most popular singer put your product on his music video. That's and he has a hashtag. You saw the hashtag I used? They have a hashtag with the PlayStation symbol with his new song and his name. That was his name in Japanese. That's his name in
Kenshi
Japanese. Plus the name
and PlayStation.
Yeah, and the name of the song, pop song, and then the PlayStation symbols.
Yep.
That's a hashtag everybody in Japan is using right now.
It's amazing.
So again, it's just weird that after 1.5 years silence, all of a sudden they do a gigantic move. There has to be something that happened for them to make a gigantic move for.
Well,
it's kind of like how I see it.
that transitions us nicely into the main juicy topic that we have for you this evening. And I say it's juicy. It's a bittersweet topic, to be fair, because we know that Sony are planning something very big, but we're looking in the wrong places, guys. And what do I mean by that? Well, there's this trending narrative, fam, that I don't know if you guys have heard it. Retro, Akira, Wilhelm, that Sony's financial reports came out showing that they have spent 7.5 billion of their apparent 18 billion pocket money, basically. They've got more cash on hand than that, but they've got 18 billion in acquisitions / investments, kind of to use, and so far they've spent 7.5 billion, and people are under the impression that, well, we know that they've spent in total 2.4 billion on Bungie, 1.2 billion that isn't included, I don't think, in that report, which is a kind of incentivizing retention. It's like basically a bonus and a thank you to Bungie. And it leaves us with a significant amount. They spent roughly 500 million in all their other acquisitions too. Housemarque, Bluepoint, Valkyrie, I think. And that leaves us with roughly about up until December 31st, where the financial report kind of gets us to. That leaves us with an apparent kind of anomaly. There's between 3 and I think it's like 3 billion or something like that hasn't been accounted for, or so people are under the impression. But that's not actually the case. I've bookmarked the tweet, actually. I'll find the tweet for you guys. Basically, I was speaking with David Faulkner, and he kind of brought a few things to light. Sony have released a chart showing just where their money has gone to. But before I show you the chart, they've spent 7.4 billion in total. But let me I'll get you the chart up now. It's just here. Here we go. Got the chart for you. See, I'm not the financial expert, so I'm not going to pretend like I know everything here that I'm seeing. I'll just get the picture up. The picture's bigger, able to see it better. Because that's not really clear, is it? Save. Here we go. Open. Ask me later. Here we go. Got it up. Yeah, I got it up. That's what she said. Let me make it bigger screen for you guys. Here we go. So here's a chart.
She said I got it up and worry.
I know. here's the chart that Sony released in their financial report, showing the progress of their strategic investments. And here's that 7.4 billion in a pie chart. Games and network services here is what a large chunk of that 7.4 billion has gone towards. But they've also invested a decent amount in Sony Pictures, and that was their 1.1 billion Crunchyroll acquisition, if you recall. And they purchased Crunchyroll. So a significant, but that was part of the Sony Pictures division. They've invested probably a billion or so in music and a billion or so in other ventures too. So, guys, when we break that down, what does that tell us? There's nothing that they haven't spent within their financial report up to December, I think it's December the 31st, that they have yet to reveal or let us know that the 7.4 billion they've spent so far, all of that 7.4 billion has been accounted for, and we know about. We know what they've spent it on. So there is no secret acquisition that they have yet to tell us about. This was a trending narrative on Twitter, and I just kind of wanted to get to the bottom of this and figure out the facts. And I thought, we were waiting for a secret confirmation of something else that they've acquired, but the truth is no. And this is thanks to Faulkner showing us this chart that was officially released in the Sony financials. So it tells you that 18 billion, although it's arguably more now, I think, that they have to spend. They're using it for not just for the gaming division and network services. They're using it for other things too. However, what does that mean? Does that mean that Sony aren't kind of still in acquisition mode, or in kind of aren't committed to continuing to basically pursue these endeavors? Well, no, it doesn't mean that at all, because we know for a fact that Sony is still in talks with, we believe, 20. There's a list of about 20 big names that they're aggressively pursuing. I can't go into any more information about that list, but these names specifically aren't including the likes of Square Enix and things like that. Reason for that is that these would be outright buys. This list is basically pertaining to outright buys and purchases and acquisitions, whereas if something like Square Enix were to be in quotes acquired, it would just be a moving of shares rather than a full out buy, because there's stakes. In the East, businesses are all invested in each other, and so it works differently. You'd have to reach out to Faulkner. I've got his details below in the description for all the extra info. It's a real shame he's not here at present to kind of break it all down in layman's terms for people like me. But I hope that makes sense, what I've said so far. And they still have a shitload left to use, and they could easily, if they basically get their hands on, and I can't say who told me this, but I have sources. But if they got their hands on roughly, just half of the people they're aggressively interested in, it would be pretty much game over. And yeah, that's all I can say. There's definitely things brewing, fam. There's definitely things in the oven. But don't use that financial report as proof, because it's not. People thought it was up until Sony released that chart in the financials, showing clearly that what they use their money for is more than just the gaming division. They're also using it in other ventures too. And Crunchyroll, that's included in that 7.4 billion as well. So, yeah. Any thoughts on that, guys? Sorry to drag on.
Just some of the foolishness we've been saying over Twitter.
Sorry? Saying what?
Maybe it'll just cool down some of the foolishness.
Yeah, if people see this
over Twitter.
No, facts. I know people are kind of full on speculating, and it is exciting to a degree because it's a shake up of the industry. But I mean, I don't know whether to go into the whole consolidation talk again. I think I don't know about you guys. It gets a bit tiring after a while, but I think we can all agree consolidation is not a good thing. But it's usually pertaining to consolidation of mega corporations. where mergers are attempted and shitloads of layoffs, and it's just messy and things get completely tossed up in the air and basically ruined. But I think with things like what happened with Bungie, I don't potentially see a negative impact on the industry that the Bungie deal made, because there's been no layoffs. It's not been a merger. They haven't merged with Sony. They haven't been swallowed up.
They've actually started hiring more staff.
Big facts.
So, yeah, it's like you say, it's nothing but a good thing, that type of deal. Yeah, I can't really disagree with that. I think it's when you start maybe closing off things to people who are already your customers, I think then it can get a bit dicey. If you start cutting off people, the way that Bungie came out and basically said, look, if you're a customer now, you will be looked after. You're not going to miss out on anything. Yeah, so I can't see that as a bad thing.
Exactly.
But yeah, if you start locking it off and saying, nah, this is ours now, you're not getting it anymore, I think that's a bit dicey.
Massive facts, my dude. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. But yeah, there is a difference between the level of consolidation that Microsoft is trying to pursue, and I think I have a hunch, but I could be wrong. And I mean, I'd love it if Nib was here, to be honest, because Nib, along with Faulkner and Leviathan, is a great source of insight on things. Shout out to him. He what am I saying now? He thinks it potentially it's going to be harmful to the industry, the course Sony is taking, but it's potential. It's kind of, it could go wrong, but I'd like to think, as would Nib and others, that Sony have the smarts to not shoot themselves in the foot and ruin the industry they're trying to nurture, and they've always shown that they try to grow the industry, not own the industry, and that's what I was about to say. It seems like they're trying to expand what they do rather than change or
big
facts.
It just seems like they're just trying to bolster what they do.
Exactly, and secure the industry from invasive. I don't know. I can't remember the name that the egregious kind of acquisition strategy of Microsoft is called. It's basically a word. DZ said it, but it's a complicated
antitrust,
word.
You mean?
Yeah, it's basically touching on antitrust a methodology in how they attempt to purchase large scale bulk buys, basically, and entire conglomerates. And it's indiscriminate. They don't buy discriminately. They don't buy like specific ventures. They basically mass buy an entire publisher and then get rid of what they don't need or that doesn't suit their business model and their plan.
Basically they try to beat competition by just buying it.
Perfect example. Imagine people running with this idea that Sony should buy Konami, right? And shout out to Frontline Gamer. I think we all know who he is. He Prince Tybalt, he's called on Twitter, or Frontline Gamer. He has a shitload of knowledge and insight in the industry. I'm just a guy who has ideas, but I get a lot of my information from people who know far more shit than I do. So I'm not some kind of Foxy Games UK kind of Nostradamus guy who has sources and all that shit. That I have snippets of information people tell me, but I don't know everything that's going on. But with that being said, Frontline Gamer definitely knows more than most, and yeah, we've me and him have had our rocky patches. I think I think maybe I know he's super close with Optimus Code, and I don't blame him. Optimus Code is a fantastic individual, and I have nothing but respect for the guy. But me and Optimus had a difference in opinion over something, which resulted in me getting a block, and I have nothing but love and respect for Code, and I really am kind of keeping him in my thoughts and prayers, and hope he pulls through. But I think maybe it created a bit of a barrier between me and Frontline, which is sad. But I gotta respect his loyalty and love for his friends, and so I have nothing but respect for Frontline as well. But on that note, with that being said, regardless, I can't knock him for his knowledge and his insight. And Frontline said a really interesting point about Konami. They have their fingers in many pots not related to gaming. I think casinos, gambling, pachinko, pachinko, and shitloads of other things, theme parks and stuff like that, apparently. And imagine if Sony bought Konami, just Konami as the whole. What use is that? A lot of that dead weight to Sony. Not much use. What would happen? Cuts would be made, because these things have a shitload of staff budgets. Staff need to get paid, running costs, all that shit would be. It's no different with Activision and Microsoft. So cuts are made, and it would just be messy, right? It would result in a lot of people losing their jobs. Shit like that just doesn't fly. But what if Sony arranged maybe to purchase the gaming division of Konami? See, that's different, and that would be, I guess that would be a trick, like just moving shares over. I don't know how it would work out, but if that were to happen, there'd be so much less, if at all, any collateral damage and a loss of jobs and shit like that, because it would literally just be moving shit over and continuing it as it was. If Konami were doing anything with those IPs, which they're not, their gaming division is basically dead now. What I'm trying to sitting there wasting money. What I'm trying to do though is trying to highlight the difference between invading an entire publisher and buying the whole thing, and the problems with that arises, as opposed to partnership investments, which arguably that's exactly what Bungie is. It wasn't a merger. It wasn't as such an acquisition in its dominant term, how people view acquisitions. I mean, they're not even classed as part of PlayStation Studios. They're part of the...
No, they sit alongside them.
Exactly.
It's like Sony, PlayStation Worldwide Studios, Bungie.
Mm-hmm.
That in that order, they're on the same tier. It's basically now the money comes from Sony instead of to them. It kind of funnels through Sony.
Yeah, Med Ryan makes a great point in the chat. Konami will never be bought by Sony. Pay attention. Sony doesn't want IP. They're gathering all the talent, which is absent in Konami.
I've been saying that myself, to be honest, that they're not interested in IPs. They can make their own, and they've got plenty of their own.
And Med Ryan, you're absolutely right. I wasn't saying Sony. I wasn't saying Sony are going to acquire Konami. I was trying to show and highlight the difference between Konami and Konami Gaming Division. And I was using, I guess you could say, a hypothetical scenario to highlight the analogy I was trying to make, and the difference between Bungie and Activision. That's what I was doing. But I agree. So Sony, I don't see it. I don't see Sony buying Konami or the IPs. To be frank, I see them making deals with Konami to maybe bring back some of their IPs. But I don't see them acquiring them. I don't see it personally, but could be wrong.
There's definitely two different plans at work.
Yeah.
They're definitely doing it differently, the pair of them.
Son Nami has a nice ring to it. Glad you agree, the unknown. Hey, Social Destruct, Gadget, what's good, everybody in the chat? Toolman, great you're all here. Aaron. And Caesar G, what's good? Jonathan, Tony Twist. It's awesome. It's awesome. Shout out to Aaron, bro. It's going to be sitting there in my brain. It's going to annoy me. Please, bro, just spill the beans. No, sir. I know we know the list exists. And I've given small details as to what the list contains and more what the list doesn't contain. But that's all that's being said. But IGN told you about the list, guys. You know, they mentioned it. So so it's all out there. It's all open source. I'm not saying anything that's confidential or that requires inside knowledge to know. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that. Anybody else? Akira, Wilhelm, do you have any thoughts on where you see Sony headed? How do you feel about this new aggressive Sony that we're seeing at the moment?
Well, they're definitely working on something, like I said. They won't. Again, the marketing thing is very suspicious. And I think it's not about working on it. I think they already worked on it. They just, not revealed it yet. And I think, well, this is the thing, man. Like, as of this point, Sony doesn't really have a choice anymore. Because, if they don't move, well, their competitor's just going to buy everything.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Like, I keep on telling people, you can get mad if other companies follow suit after Activision acquisition, but that's the thing. They have no choice as of this point if they want to keep content for themselves, just like how Microsoft kept content for themselves as well. And I don't think that's their fault anymore, because again, they're just doing what's best for their business, just like Microsoft's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think it's inevitable. So Sony being aggressive, well, it's about time. Because we don't want any of these competitions to disappear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though some people, the other camp wants Sony to disappear completely, which I don't completely understand, but all right. But yeah, this is I think it's an inevitable thing for them to stay afloat, and unfortunately, it's just how business works.
It's true.
So that's kind of like my stance on it. Consolidation is bad, but the thing is, these companies are also doing their own business, and I don't think they have a choice as of this point after such a industry-shaking move like that with Activision. So yeah, that's my stance on it.
I agree. Wilhelm?
There's really nothing new that I can really add to that. Like, again, I think all that really could have been brought up has already been brought up and expressed.
I think so. Akira summed it up perfectly when he said Sony don't have a choice. They don't. At the end of the day, from the moment Microsoft acquired Bethesda, ZeniMax, they showed there's no IP too big, no studio or publisher too big that they're not going to try and get, and it basically all eyes turned on them, and the market became fair game, and that's basically what resulted from Microsoft's actions with Bethesda. But yeah, the question is, were they reacting to something, or is Sony reacting to them? It seems like, I don't know, with how aggressive Microsoft have been, it's as if they're reacting to something, in my opinion, and that's why, like others have been saying the same thing. Others more informed than me, that this thing's stewing, big things stewing on the horizon, soon to be announced, that we're not really ready for. Interestingly, just a little bit of let's put on our tinfoil hats for a moment, guys. Let's speculate a few things. It's interesting to see this happen. Twice, basically in a matter of a few days, Sony have basically been writing love letters to FromSoft. They've been writing love letters to FromSoft, guys. And
yeah, didn't the devs get involved as well?
Yeah, entire devs on Twitter. What's your favorite FromSoft game? And it's not what's your favorite Souls game. It's what's your favorite FromSoft game. Their focus is very much on them. We know FromSoft, makes the bulk of its profits from software sales, and the majority of them sales are on PlayStation. They've got an exclusives with PlayStation. They've got a long history of partnership with PlayStation. I can see it happening. I don't know about you guys, but on the PlayStation blog on the 28th of Jan, they had an interview with Hidetaka Miyazaki, and also all about his game coming out. I don't know if you've heard of it. This kind of big game. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have heard of Elden Ring, but it's kind of a big deal, But yeah, Elden Ring is coming out soon, so they interviewed him all about that, and then literally just a few days later, they made an entire they got half a dozen first-party studios and interviewed them all about From Software, what's their favourite bosses and their favourite moments. First-party studio, it's weird, bro.
It is weird, isn't it, for them to do that for a third-party studio with their first-party studios? I don't understand.
We even
it.
had
I don't see the angle.
Firewalk were commenting on their favourite boss battles. You had Insomniac. Literally,
yeah,
it's weird. It's weird. So I don't know, guys. I don't know whether FromSoft are being acquired or not. I just thought it's interesting to see. It would not.
It might
surprise
not
me.
even be acquisition. It might be they've just got another game in the works, like the Unknown saying about the kind of Bloodborne 2 thing.
Yeah.
It might just be something like that.
There is a rumored second-party PlayStation exclusive in the works with From Software that they are
I'll be that.
working on. Yeah, exactly. But it could just be finalizing. It could just be another Insomniac on our hands, guys. That all this success with this, maybe FromSoft would snatch off Sony's arm, to be part of their family. Who knows? It wouldn't surprise me. They certainly have a lot of
imagine them
success.
using some of the in-house tech
Exactly.
from Sony Studios? Oh my days!
One can dream.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of speculation, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So last but by no means least, guys, wanted to kind of touch on lastly, the final topic of the night. Now that we've got that out the way, Sony are making. Apparently, they have 10 gas games in the works. 10 games as a service. And people are kind of outraging about this, like it's a bad thing. And suddenly PlayStation don't care about single player games anymore. Well, first of all, I want to just draw your attention to a quote before we get into what the panel thinks about this. For 10 minutes, just show you this quote. I was actually very kindly sent it by Johnny on Discord. So I'll show you this now. So shout out to you, Johnny. Thank you. This is a quote from Jim Ryan. We intend to build upon our growing experience and ambition in the games as a service space to complement our continued strength in the narrative-led titles that PlayStation fans know and love. Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan said at the time. Guys, so let's just make one thing very clear. Sony are pursuing games as a service. They're honing in on that genre of video game. That's all encompassing of many genres, to be fair. I mean, you've got car games, shooters, first person, third person, all that shit, right? But regardless, he said we intend to build upon our growing experience and ambition in the games as a service to complement, and that's the key, to complement their continued narrative-led titles. So are they looking to replace narrative-driven experiences with just gas? Are they looking to be the next Activision? No. It would be silly to think otherwise, right? They're still making incredible first-party, narrative-driven adventure titles. In fact, DZ is hella excited about one particular narrative-based game by Firesprite that looks insane. He's saying he can't get his head around how good it looks and how good it's going to be. So I don't know if that gives you guys any.
It's like Firesprite is a wild card for for Sony right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're keeping them close to the chest right now. It's really a bit secretive about them right now.
Yeah, facts.
And they're growing like every week. They're growing. Always new people.
Like I say, it's about expansion, not a change of direction.
Mm-hmm. No, big facts. So I mean, and one of these gas games, it was recently said on Twitter by Deviation, looks to be insane. Apparently it's super ambitious, to the point where it could last for generations. I'm guessing it sounds like on par with GTA Online kind of level ambition in terms of, or Fortnite.
Did anyone else realise that they're making it a standalone thing?
Yeah, standalone for it's releasing March 25th. Grand Theft Auto Online. For 3 months, it's free on PlayStation via PS Plus.
Yeah, I'll definitely be grabbing that just in case.
Who isn't re-grabbing it? It's crazy. It's like they could release GTA another half a dozen times and people would still buy it, no matter how angry they are.
That's crazy, man.
It's crazy. But yeah, they're also CEO Jim Ryan said that he's looking that PlayStation is starting to go multi-plat.
No. Sorry.
What?
It's the baby. I'm talking to the baby. Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
No worries.
Sorry.
And I mean, is that really the case? Does that mean all their games are now going to be multi-plat? No. It's a generalization of what he means. It's no different to when he said we believe in generations. He said we believe in generations, not just one generation.
I know, but I could have understood the confusion with that quote, right?
Yeah, facts.
If it didn't say directly underneath it about supporting the PS4 too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where I didn't understand why people were getting confused about what he said, because it's self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big facts. So I think just a hunch that these new studios or publishers that Sony is venturing to acquiring and partnering with they'll stay multi-plat. If these studios have been multi-plat, they'll stay multi-plat. Because why change what works? The income and revenue from those games are higher multi-plat. And they're not synonymous with exclusive quality. They're not. Whereas games from Naughty Dog, Insomniac, shit like that, go on.
Look at the new Destiny 2 expansion. Over 1 million pre-orders already.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you had made that exclusive, how many of that million would you have cut off?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
So sometimes exclusivity works, sometimes it doesn't. You just got to decide whenever, what's best for each game you release.
Mm-hmm. I do think that going forward, any multi-plat games that Sony publish and release, that's not Destiny. I'm talking about new IPs here, won't be on Xbox. I don't see it. By multi-plat, I think PC day one. And there's a few things to consider with PC day one. Not every first-party studio will do PC day one. They'll do PC later for obvious reasons. But these studios that already do multi-plat titles, like Bungie, I imagine, Firewalk, and also Deviation. These studios have shitloads of experience in multi-plat ventures, not really exclusive ventures, right? And when I mean studios, I mean the manpower. I know some of these are new studios. I'm talking about the talent and the devs behind them, right? These guys have worked on COD and other multi-plat games. Yeah, so by that I mean I primarily mean PC. But I think when Jim said we're beginning to go multi-plat, he means the fact that they've been shipping games onto PC, porting games over. They are in essence multi-plat now, because they're but it doesn't necessarily mean on every platform day one, and I think a lot of people are kind of conflating the two. So that's kind of my final thoughts on that. I don't know if you guys have anything to add. Or should we wrap this up?
Every second here, man.
It's all good, bro. Will, Retro, Akira, anything?
No, good. You sum it up, man.
Sweet. Awesome. Right. Well.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm about to go. You can find me on Twitter. I need to go take care of the baby.
All right, Akira, brother. No problem.
Yeah. Thank you again.
Take care.
Guys.
Thanks. Everybody, you can follow Akira down below in the description.
Take care.
Give him a follow. Yeah. See you, Akira, brother. Thank you for hanging with us. But yeah, sorry you guys just listened to me rant for 10-15 minutes. I just thought, things needed to be said.
Yeah, man.
What about you, family man Retro? Where can we find you, my guy?
You just can find me on Twitter, either the Family Man Gamer or XTSX Retro. And if anyone wants to add me to Xbox Live or PSN, my usernames are in my bio.
Fantastic.
Just add away. Everyone's welcome.
Yeah. Big facts. And what about you, Wilhelm?
You can all find me on Twitter at Maximus Wilhelm, and if you want to see us play Jackbox or Trouble in Terrorist Town, then please say it in the comments down below. I tried to approach Wooly with that idea, but the only answer I got was that he didn't know what both were.
I'm just not cultured like you, my guy. At least I know that there's a mouse cursor on Gran Turismo. No, but for real, that sounds awesome. Definitely hit Wilhelm up. Get his follow account up on Twitter. Not enough people follow this guy. I tell you, he's an absolute legend, and he knows a shit ton about games. So see his description below. Give him a follow on Twitter. It's definitely worth it. You can follow him at Maximus Wilhelm on Twitter. But thank you guys so much for hanging. It's been a bit of a more quieter show this evening. Not many people on the panel tonight, but we've held our own and we've done the best we can given the circumstances. Hope it's been a good show and hasn't wasted you guys' time in the chat. I hope you enjoyed it and you found it worth your time. Thank you so much for supporting, fam. You're all awesome. Shout out to all of you in the chat. Shout out to new folk too. It's been awesome seeing you guys. Toolman, Aaron, The Unknown, Compost Smurf, Brian King, Forgetful Gamer, T-Rock, my boy. Good to see you, bro. Yeah, all of you. Social Destruct, Medorian. Thank you to every one of you. All of you. Tony Twist. I could go on and on and on and on. And Toolman, 758 subs. You're damn right, bro. 2 weeks ago, I was at 640, so it's crazy. We are growing, and hopefully
759 now.
How? Really?
Yeah, it just went up another one.
Shout out to Gaming Despair. I love you. I love you more, dude. I love you more, my bro. Yeah, it's been awesome. Guys, just always remember, don't be a donut and use your noggin. And on that note, wish you all a very pleasant evening. Peace out.
Good night.
Take care, everyone.
Good shit, guys.